Hello everyone. Those of you who follow the channel will probably have seen quite a few videos recently unboxing various bits of kit and so forth sent to me, very kindly sent to me by Jack McCabe, who served with the British Army and then with the Sultan of Oman's armed forces out in Oman. And he sent me one last batch of bits and pieces he's managed to dig out. Very, very kind of him, and we're going to get into looking at what's arrived in the video now. I think again it's a mix of SOAF kit and British Army kit from the sort of 1980s period. So we'll get into the main part of the video now and have a look at what's arrived.
Okay, so the first things we have on top here are a couple of SOAF issue 1958 pattern water bottle pouches, as you can see, made to the first pattern with the twist lock for the lid there. And we have a bottle end cup in each of these. I think I don't have a 1958 pattern, a British issue 1958 pattern water bottle pouch here to compare to, but these are more of a pea soup sort of green, a paler green than the British issue examples, but otherwise very, very similar. So let's have a look here. We've got a 1984 dated bottle, you can see there, and then a 1974 dated cup, which are all, and also not, they don't have the MBC, the cap with the drinking attachment for the S10 respirator, which is actually good because quite a few of my bottles have that, so having some without that cap is useful. And then these are again 1984 and again 1984 Osprey and PP, which I forget the manufacturer of that, but again the pre-MBC cap there, which is good. They will be useful going forward. Oh, are there any markings? Let's have a look. I've just thought about that. No, you do have the flap in the top there though for sterilising tablets, but very similar, basically the same as the British issue examples, just a slightly different colour. So thank you very much for those, Jack. Move this out of the way as well. Okay, next what do we have in here? Okay, so we have some Omani shirts. There's a couple of those, I think. Oh, shirt and trousers in sort of a stone finish. You can see the side adjuster there. Bring the label up to the camera here. In fact, yes, shirt khaki stone colour, yeah. Size L4, which is the Oman sizing. The Oman sizes have an L or a letter and then a number, rather. So a polyester wool mix, interestingly. So shirt and trousers there, still in the packaging, very nice condition. And then this is what Jack mentioned, that there would be an overall that he was issued. I believe these were issued to the armoured forces. You can see the design of that here. Heavy duty zip, Velcro pockets. That's obviously SOAF issue again, Oman Army issue. We've got leg pockets, one on each side there, as you can see, made in this sort of dark green, almost a foresty green colour, a jungle green, I guess. Knee pads there, as you can see, just coming adrift there, the stitching, but reinforcement on the legs. And then the sleeves, very, very simple, just a simple Velcro tab at the cuff there. Epaulets, ventilation under the arm there, epaulets on top. You do have a little pen pocket on the arm there, as you can see. So one piece overall, Omani issue rather. And what else do we have in here? Now we have, oh, basic battle skills, excellent. And there's obviously with Jack's name and everything on there. So just flick through this, give you an idea of all the bits and pieces that this covers. Right the way through from sort of cover concealment, movement, field craft to first aid and all sorts of different things. Gas, probably the most memorable part of the MBC drill. So there we are, basic battle skills. And underneath that we have Jack's told me about this. I believe this is what would be referred to as Omani dust on it. What you'd refer to as, I believe in the region, as a chagil. I think that's how you pronounce it. Presumably the same derivation as chagall in Indian use, and certainly in the rest of the British Army. This is a slightly more advanced design of the chagall, and it's a canvas bag you fill with water, and obviously it becomes saturated and swells and therefore becomes watertight, but it allows some water to evaporate, which keeps the water in it cool. In contrast to chaggalls I've seen previously, which have just sort of come to a neck which can be tied closed, this actually has an aluminium screw cap and chain, as you can see here. So slightly more refined design in that regard, I suppose you could say. I can get this back on. Metal cap on metal thread, there we go. And obviously you've got the ropes there, you can hang this up. So that's the sort of local equivalent that they were issued in Oman to the chagall, which is probably familiar to some. I've covered the chagall in previous videos looking at Chindit operations and so forth, the victory show reports. But that's, as I say, slightly more refined design in having an actual metal spout in the corner there worked into the design. So that's a nice thing. Thank you for that, Jack. An interesting thing, certainly. And what else do we have in here? A beret. I think this is the Signal Regiment beret, but with the armoured cap badge with the black backing. Just one second, there is a list, let's double check. And that's some of this stuff I know about already. No, Signal Regiment beret with armoured regiment badge, yes, correct on that. So the black backing with the armoured regiment badge on the Signal Regiment beret. Interestingly, as you can see, an English made in England beret, but in this quite distinctive blue colour, which is very different to anything the British Army uses. And there's more in here as well. Okay, let's have a look here. The jungle green uniform, which Jack remembered wearing, which is actually, if you look, it's cellular, so it's what I refer to as Airtex, but that's the trade name. But cellular material, as you can see there, very similar to British tropical clothing of the time, or some of the British tropical clothing, although this is a somewhat different design of shirt, obviously with the angled, well, the squared and then angled edge pocket flaps and so forth, but similar in the material and so forth. It's made of epaulets there on the shoulder, the label in the collar there. So made in Sultanate of Oman, so made locally. Size 3, presumably there, so slightly different sizing. I believe this is the earlier stuff before the DPM came in. This was the field, or part of the field uniform. And there are trousers to go with that here as well. I think, oh, it's another shirt. So another shirt, another of these cellular shirts. Same design. And a couple of pairs of trousers underneath. So the trousers to go with the uniform. And you can see side adjusters there, actually buckled side adjusters. A leg pocket there. And on the other side as well, a single leg pocket on the left hand leg. Button belt loops around, rear pocket there, as you can see, and then a button fly. So you've got a button that buttons back through the waistband there, and then another one, and then the button fly, as you can see as well. So quite a simple design of green trousers in this very dark jungle green material. I think this is probably a cotton mix. I'm not sure if it's pure cotton. Feels more like it's a cotton mix. And there's another pair of those trousers in here as well. Slightly more worn, I think, slightly more faded. So there we are. There's a simple slip pocket in the side seam there. So that's the jungle green, I guess you could say, sort of uniform that was worn at the time. Now we've got a 1958 pattern belt. Always useful to have. So thank you for that, Jack. I'll have to go over this. I don't think there's any visible markings, but I'll have to see if it's a first or second issue. But a 1958 pattern belt, as I say, just always useful to have more 1958 pattern belts. So that's great. And the final thing we have in here, which I think is going to be difficult to display, or difficult to get in frame because it's rather large, is a flag. If we can at least get the emblem visible here, orientate that correctly. I think it's correct that way. There we go. Sort of an idea of what's going on here. And I'm going to have to grab my list again now, which I've misplaced. One moment. So this is a flag of the Armoured Regiment, and I say I've just got this laid out as best I can here to show the emblem, which is obviously the same as that which we have on the cap badge here, as you can see. So it mirrors that. So this will be, well, it's an interesting part of the history, I guess, and the Jack's service, certainly in the sort of the Oman's armed forces. So it's quite the thing. I'm going to have to possibly try and find somewhere to put this up, but certainly when we move, that is, which is coming up soon, obviously. But that's a fascinating thing, and I say this will certainly find somewhere suitable to store it in the meantime, and then possibly somewhere where it can be displayed. But that's a fascinating thing. So thank you very much indeed for all of this, Jack. That's superb. It really is. Thank you very much once again.
So a big thank you again to Jack for that final, I think, lot of kit that he's sent over. It's very generous of you to send me all this stuff, Jack. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. I always enjoy making these videos. It's quite fun to share the unboxing process with people in a video. If you have found it interesting and you'd like to see more from the channel, please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, little notification button down below, which will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Patreon and PayPal are both linked down below, and as ever, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It's greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And if you'd like to get in contact but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address down there as well. But that's everything for this video, so until next time, bye for now.